The biggest deal, certainly the most talked about transfer into the Premier League, is about to go through, and we are talking about a player developed, nurtured, schooled, one of our own in the EFL Championship. Viktor Gyokeres is about to sign for Arsenal. Arsenal have finished second, and got to the Champions League semi-final last season. Everybody says, well, Arsenal, they need a striker, someone to score their goals for them and take them over the top, the difference maker. If that guy is Viktor Gyokeres and he does what he's supposed to, could that make him the biggest success story, the most successful export out of the Championship ever? We can have that debate at the end. Get your views down there in the comments. Let's talk about the Swedish goal machine who is about to, hopefully for his sake and the Arsenal fans' sake, take the Premier League by storm. Certainly, if he does what he's done over the past few years, then that is exactly what is about to happen. Gyokeres came in to Brighton in 17-18. That would be their first Premier League season. All fees I'm about to talk about are from Transfermarkt. So if you want to debate any of them, send Transfermarkt a strongly worded email and leave me alone. €1 million Brighton dropped on Gyokeres back in 2017. And it's one of these classic modern model transfers. You stockpile the best young talent from the English academies, from Europe, and, you know, maybe you loan them out. Maybe they get into your team. Worst case scenario, you get your money back on a transfer after they've been developed over a few seasons. Gyokeres, I think he went out on loan, St. Pauli, maybe, but we're concerned, obviously, with the Championship. And in the 2021 season, that being the weird season that started while we were still in COVID lockdowns and things of that nature, he goes on loan to Swansea with Steve Cooper. A Swansea side who just lost in the playoff semi-final the previous season. So good side, good move for him, but didn't work out at all. In fact, it was so bad, he didn't score any goals, Gyokeres, and Brighton recalled him in the middle of the season to send him off to Coventry. Frankly, it was just too soon for him at a team challenging that high in the table in the Championship. And this is very much the Gyokeres story. It is very much bit by bit by bit, and he always finds his level wherever he goes. And that will be reassuring news to Arsenal fans who don't need me to tell them. I'm sure they've been doing their research on Gyokeres. But off he goes to Coventry midway through that season. Swansea get into the playoff final, actually, and it was Andre Ayew who Steve Cooper absolutely loved there. He was scoring all their goals, Jamal Lowe as well. Coventry fancy him a little bit more. 19 appearances, 7 starts, 3 goals. And fair play to Coventry, because they'd obviously identified him through whatever data or whatever reason, because it wasn't goals, let's be fair about that they wanted to build around him. And that signing was made permanent then for €1.2 million. And Gyokeres goes in permanently at Coventry. And here we go. Here come the goals, everybody. So Coventry's story in the Championship, by the way, was one of just really, really good progress up to a vital point, which is the point where Gyokeres leaves the club there. But first season there permanently at Coventry, 17 goals in 41 starts. And in the second season, and he's partnered up with Gus Harmer, and Coventry have a great season, nearly a perfect season. 47 starts. I think there's another 2 sub-appearances, which, if you do your maths, that is every single game. 46 plus 3 in the playoffs, because you all know how this finishes. Gyokeres combines with Harmer for Harmer to score in the playoff final, but Coventry lose on penalties. And we've spoken so many times of that game. I know people call it the biggest game in football because of the difference between, you know, you're getting £7 million TV money if you lose it, you're getting 100 million TV money if you win it. But it's also the biggest sliding doors game in football, because I think we can be pretty certain at that point, if Coventry win that penalty shootout, sudden death penalty shootout, by the way. It was absolute drama at Wembley that day. That Gyokeres probably isn't sold, and that, he gets to go in the Premier League with Coventry for season that would have been 23-24. But in the reality we live in, Gyokeres is going to go off to Sporting in Portugal. But I think we just need to wind back a little bit and look at those 2 seasons and give Mark Robbins and Adi Vivash and Coventry a load of credit, because he wasn't the finished article. You can see now we're going to describe this rampaging bull of a striker who can do everything: head it, kick it, dribble it, right foot, left foot, penalty box, inside, outside, goal, 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 goal. You know the type, don't you? But that was very much Bill, and he needed the partnership with Gus Harmer. It needed the 2 cheat codes to go together to lift Coventry up the league and into that playoff final. And you could just see him grow through those 2 seasons to the point where at the end of that season, where you see a striker, particularly in the Championship, where there is that ceiling where you can go off and spread your wings in the Premier League or another of Europe's elite league. You can see he was going on the pitch expecting to score literally every game he played. And that's pretty much what's been happening in Portugal. And it was the right move, wasn't it? He didn't go to the Premier League then. And we've talked about the Dutch league and the Portuguese league. Is that a level down from the Premier League? Is the German league the best stepping stone? We've had players, Darwin Núñez gets criticism. I can remember Mario Yardel, I'm going back a bit, and who was the lad who played for Borough? Alfonso Alves, who scored goals in a lower tier kind of European league. And, you then, especially now with the strength of the Championship and the parachute teams and the type of players that will come into the Championship, knowing the proximity to the Premier League and getting themselves into English football, the gap has definitely closed between the Championship and some of those leagues. However, I would argue, and you can debate me in the comments about it, that Portuguese league is a good halfway house between Premier League and Championship, especially if you get European football. And these numbers that are to die for do track across European football as well. He's just scored everywhere. Every competition you put him in, Portuguese league, Europe, Swedish national team, Gyokeres has turned into a goal machine. And I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because these are almost Messi, Ronaldo, Haaland numbers, aren't they? 102 appearances, 97 goals. So he's very, very close to that. What we thought was just impossible, players of the past, maybe like a Steve Bull or an Ian Rush back in the days could have got close to it. Alan Shearer. But it was still never a goal a game or better. That was very much the Messi, Ronaldo, or original Ronaldo in his early career before the injuries was, literally scores every single game or better than that. If you add in the goal contributions, there's 26 assists in there. So that's 123 goal contributions and 102 appearances for Sporting. Amazing. And it does track pretty well across the Champions League. So Gyokeres could well, having made these steps, go into Arsenal and, you tell me, score, I don't know, if you factor in all of the competitions and the amount of games they play in the Champions League, he's got to be expecting to be over 20. Whether that's just in the Premier League or not, we'll find out. But across the board, you would expect goals, goals, goals. And I mentioned, they put him with a cheat code in Gus Harmer in the Championship, Coventry, didn't they? Well, it's going to get Odegaard and Saka at Arsenal. So levels, man. I love the Championship. I love Gus Harmer and I love that Coventry team. But this is a different world. And I love the Gyokeres story here. Young Swedish player, goes to Brighton, not quite ready, goes on loan, goes to Swansea, a team challenging, playoff final team, not ready, goes to Coventry, a team lower in the Championship. Right, we found our level. He gets backed, goal, 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 goal. Works his way up, and now he is the player in the playoff final. Doesn't quite get there. Makes the move to Sporting. Now he's ready to go in that league. Goal, 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 goal times 100 or 97 or whatever it is, but 123 goal contributions in 2 seasons. I think he's ready for the Premier League. He's peak age. What is he, 27, 28, Gyokeres now. And as I say, he's just I don't want to say a master of, jack of all trades and a master of all of them as well, because no one's a master of all trades. But he is that very, very useful striker that is just good across the board. It's not like, say, a player who's just going to be really good on the physicality and then needs, the goals are going to come from the inside forwards, which is what would happen in the Premier League, or just a player who can run in behind and score. Do those players even exist in the Premier League now, in the one up front era brought to us by Mr. Mourinho back in the sort of early to mid noughties? So I think he ticks every box Arsenal need. And let's go back to that debate, and this is probably what we'll title the video as well. Could Gyokeres turn out to be the greatest success story of the Championship? Well, name the players down there. We've had obviously Jack Grealish leave Villa to go to Man City after a great run at Villa, but again, he was at Villa before the EFL, and he then had a great season in the Premier League with Villa, and then he went. And was he the key guy at Man City? That would be Kevin De Bruyne in that treble season, wouldn't it? Or Erling Haaland. We can talk about Ollie Watkins, is always a good one, and he shot England to the Euros final. I guess if he'd done the same in the final and won the Euros for England, then he would win this debate hands down, wouldn't he? But I'm trying to think of the others that have gone for big deals out of the Championship. James Maddison. But the difference here, this guy has been brought into the team that's gone second in the Premier League to get them to win the title. So I think potentially he could be the export, the guy that the Championship has developed, because I know people will argue about Wirtz, who's gone into Liverpool, and that Arsenal are proper going for it, signing Madueke as well. I think they're going to end up signing 5 or 6, Arsenal. But it's the number 9. It's the striker. It's the, are you in a tight game? Have you got a guy who can just grab you a goal with a half chance? It's the thing that Arsenal have not had, and the reason that many have suggested why they haven't won titles and trophies under Mikel Arteta. So I'll stop short of saying he's the greatest export right now. But if Arsenal win the title next season and he's between, you tell me, 16 and 22 goals, then maybe he just is. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. Gyokeres, could he become the biggest EFL success story of all time? And could there be another Gyokeres transferring into the EFL Championship right now? Check out my latest transfer update videos. I'm sure someone will unearth a gem. That's the dream. Will it be happening in the transfer window in the Championship under our noses right now?